Holy cow, the Cubs are still good.
Yeah, we yelling at the screen every Sunday night. Talk sleep through the remote, we just want it right. Front office tripping, man, they can't get it right. Whole city heated, but we still gon' fight. We talking Bulls trade, biz drafts, missed calls, club slump, soccer bill. We seen it all. Yeah, we loud, yeah, we gritty. I'm a little frustrated, but I still love my city. Yeah, north side, south side, west, we united.
Welcome back to Holy Cow, the Cubs show here at FCSF, Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. The first 6 games of the 2026 Chicago Cubs season are officially in the books. It's been a bit of a roller coaster of a week at Wrigley Field. It was warm at first pitch, and then it got cold. Then it got rainy. Then it got windy. And through it all, the Cubs are an even 3-3 after 2 very different series against the Nationals and the Angels, 2 teams that are expected to be brutal in 2026. The Cubs split the baby between those two. Let's start with the opening weekend against the Washington Nationals. To be honest, it was a pretty disappointing and lifeless start to the season. The Cubs dropped 2 of 3 against a team that lost 96 games last season. Matthew Boyd, he was horrible on the opening day. He gave up 6 earned runs, and then Shota Ebignaga came behind him and got tagged for a 3-run homer in the season finale. I know a lot of people were out on Shota after the way his season ended in 2025, and people were kind of stumped, I could say, when Boyd was named opening day starter over Cade. Yeah, Boyd was great at Wrigley last season, but is he really this team's best pitcher? When you think of the Cubs pitching rotation, are you thinking Boyd? Is Boyd the first name that comes to mind? Maybe. Probably not. And I don't think anybody would say that he, too, also didn't fall back to earth in the last 2 months of last season. So it was the first series ending the way it did with those 2 particular pitchers having the outings that they did. Definitely left a bad taste in a lot of Cubs fans' mouths, no diddy. The one major bright spot from that series was the aforementioned Cade Horton. He came out rocking in game 2 of that series. He threw 6 1/3 innings of 2-run ball. Cy Young level potential that kid got. He may or may not win it at any point in his career. I already got a ticket out there that's for him to win it this year. It was great odds. I think he's got great stuff. If he stays healthy, he's got as good a shot as anybody else. But losing that series to the Nationals had a lot of people jumping off that bandwagon and saying we were overrated. But check it out. The thing about baseball is that it's a really, really long season. The first 3 games is not even 5% of the season. Let's regroup. Thankfully, the Cubs bounced back to win the series against the Angels. We finally got to see Eric Cabrera, who the Cubs traded for in the offseason, giving up Owen Casey, the former #1 prospect for the Chicago Cubs. Sent him to Miami. Quiet as kept, Miami is the best team in the majors right now, 5-1. I think they're tied with the Yankees with the best record. Don't worry about who they beat up on to get there. That's not important right now. You beat who's in front of you. And if you're the Marlins, you kind of smack them upside the head. Shout out to the White Sox. Edward Cabrera made his Cubs debut, and I just want to let y'all know he was ridiculous out there. He gave up 1 hit across 6 scoreless innings, and he showed great command in all through the time he was in the game. Then, after a frustrating 2-0 loss in which the offense looked lifeless, and in really cold conditions in game 2, Matthew Boyd came out in the series finale, and he redeemed himself. That's what I like to see. He redeemed himself in that finale. He went out there in short sleeves on a 40-degree day. Shout out to Stringer Bell. But Matt Boyd went out there and struck out 10 batters over 5 2/3 innings, and he got that series win for the Cubs. Shout out to him. Big bounce back from Boyd. Now, let's get to this new segment I've got for this season. Who's hot and who's cold? I'm going to start with the positives. Who's playing well with the Cubs right now? Ian Happ. Clap it up for him. He's playing like a guy that's in a contract year, not like a guy who's already secured. He's already got 3 home runs on this young season, and he is hitting the ball to the opposite field beautifully. He's got 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 RBIs across the first 6 games. Don't look at the batting average and the strikeout numbers, though. Don't pay attention to that. It's not what we're here for. Who else is hot? Michael Busch and Nico Hoerner. Busch has been an on-base machine to start the season. He's picking up right where he left off last season with multi-hit games. In 26 plate appearances so far this season, he's got 6 hits and 5 walks. You got to I like that guy so much right now. Michael Bush at first base, he's going to be a stud. He's going to be a long-time rock star for the Cubs. And he's only 28 years old. Come on, man. It's going to be, he going to be holding it down for a while. And I can see him doing a podcast with Anthony Rizzo in the future podcast co-host. Nico Horner's also hot right now. Nico, he is swinging the bat well. He's leading the team in hits and batting average like you would expect him to. But more importantly, he just secured that bag. He got a 6-year contract extension that he signed on opening day. Shout out to him for that. And he well deserved. Like I said in a previous episode, he's the most indispensable player on the roster. This team goes as Nico goes. Shout out to him. Shout out to Jed and Carter Hawkins for getting this deal done, because all the trade rumors that was surrounding him in the offseason after the Cubs got Alex Bregman, more on him later, unfounded. Nico's here to stay. Who else is hot? The young arms, Cade Horton and Edward Cabrera. I already talked about them, but they proved that they have top of the rotation stuff. Even though they're not at the top of the rotation, they proved that they got it if they necessarily have to, which you like that. Towards the end of the season, everybody's healthy. We got young guys who got top of the rotation stuff at the back of the rotation. Beware, Cubs gonna be on that ass. But I also want to shout out another young guy, Ben Brown. He's been decent in long relief so far this season. I know a lot of people were out on him. Me, I was out on him last season. I'm like, get this guy off the squad, because he was a failed starter. But in long relief, he's been rocking so far this season. In that 2-0 loss that I talked about earlier, he struck out 5 and allowed just 1 hit over 3 1/3 of work. He's faced more batters than anyone else on the team other than Boyd. In his 6 2/3 innings of work so far this season, he's given up 4 hits and only 2 runs. We like to see that he's commanding some more of his pitches. And he's not getting so rattled. So maybe this might be the best place for him. He's got good stuff. And coming out the pen with it, might just work out for him. Now let's talk Cole. It's been a really tough start for the season for Michael Conforto. Now, we talked when he made the squad, it was kind of a push and pull. He had a rough season last year with the Dodgers, and he had to sign and no one was really rocking with him because of that season. But he said, we give him a shot. He can be a utility guy. He has great plate discipline. He does take a lot of walks, even though he swings and misses a lot and hits into grounders a lot. But like I said, it's been a really tough start from at the plate. He went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts in one of them games so far this season. And his swing looks slow. His swing looks slow. He looks like he's out of sorts. With Seiya starting to get back in some minor league work, and he's on the way to ramp up and probably going to join the team in the next week or so. Conforto, he might be DFA'd if he can't get out this funk, man. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but it is a business. Phil Maton and the rest of the new relievers. Phil has been ice cold. He came into that scoreless game against the Angels, and he walked the leadoff hitter. And then he eventually gave up the game-winning runs. He made me want to put my head through a wall watching that performance. Hobie Milner, Jacob Webb, they've also been struggling. Their command looks off. They allow too much traffic on the base pads. These guys, I just praise the young guys who are in another part of the show. But these guys, Hobie, Jacob, Phil, I got to step it up. The bullpen was one of the strengths for the team last season. I don't want this to revert to a usual Cub deficiency of having a weak bullpen. That is a surefire way to kill your season. Another thing that's been deficient so far this season is something that's usually a pride of the Cubs, the defense. Alex Bregman has been uncharacteristically, I guess, bad at third base. He's missed more plays than you would expect for him to miss. He looks just jumbled over there trying to make plays. Like I said, Seiya is on a rehab assignment, so Matt Shaw has been forced to play some right field as we expected, and he's looked out of sorts. He's taken some bad routes to balls. He's usually a third baseman, and playing outfield is probably a new thing for him. But hey, this is how you get playing time. You're going to have to be a utility guy and get in where you fit in, where you're needed. So far, beginning of the season has not looked good for Matt, but I expect him to be better with more reps. I expect Alex to be better because he's proven. But right now, the Cubs defense, real cold. Like I said earlier, we're not even 5% into the season. It's a lot of time left for a lot of these guys to get their groove and run off on the plug. And I expect the Cubs to do that. I still holding firm that this is a 95-ish win team. The Cubs have an off day on Thursday before they head to Cleveland. to play a 3-game set with the Cleveland Guardians, our good buddies from 2016. Hopefully, the guys on the cold list can thaw out and the starting rotation can keep dealing. I'll be back after that series for a recap and my thoughts on that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Fly to W and go Cubs. Appreciate you tapping into this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Don't matter if you was watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everybody on the block, and hit the notification bell so you never miss none of our daily drops. And to all the guys from the Shy, we say 3 things. Bear down, fly to W, and sell the team, Jerry.